Although we are active Church of Satan members, we do not speak on their behalf. The following contains language in adult manner and poorly impersonated celebrity voices. Listener discretion is advised.
The only reason to listen to the W Know podcast is because I'm here and I'm going to give John Shaw and Dorian Gray the best blowjobs they have ever had in their lives. I'm a dead or dead.
All right, John, we have made it to 20 episodes, dude.
That's it. Now we can die.
Yeah, I think we said we're going to end it after 20, right?
That's right.
Show's
20,
over,
21,
folks.
whatever it takes.
Fuck all you. No.
We'll archive it, though. We'll archive it. Oh, shit.
Yeah, real hard to archive 20 shows. Oh, man, it's a good start. It's a good start for us. We're almost a half a year of shows.
That's weird because it feels like we just started yesterday.
Yeah,
Lot lies. I'm sorry.
We try to figure it out like we just figured it out yesterday. So, how you been, man?
Good. Very, very, very well, actually.
Right on, dude. I was going to ask you about if you deal with these kind of people sometimes. I had this guy in the shop this week. I have my portfolio out, and in my portfolio, in the back, there is some samples of like just small versions of some of the posters I've done, like the Anton LaVey poster and stuff like that. Just little pictures to go along with all the pictures of my tattoos and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm tattooing this other guy. And this kid, him and his buddy walk in, they're looking at stuff, they're waiting because they want to get something done, and they're looking through my book, and this kid is like, he's like, oh, check it out, man, it's Anton LaVey, man, like, that's totally what I'm all about, and he's trying to,
Yo, I'm all about that, yeah.
He sounds like a moron, and he's telling his friend about how, he's like trying to school his friend on it, and, I mean, I kind of get the idea that maybe he's trying to talk loud, as if I'm going to stop and go, "Oh, so you're one of us? Well, welcome to the club. Come in. I'll give you a discount." Like, that's kind of like the vibe I get off him,
Yeah.
But like he, no, that's definitely not.
I'm sorry.
But
you only say that stuff to me. But go ahead.
Right. Only when you know the password. But it was just kind of weird, like, the way that he said that, and that, but then, he would kind of go further, like, he would be having a conversation with this kid, but just loud enough for me to hear, and he would say something along the lines about, yeah, I told my boss said something about, who's my higher power, and I said Satan, and I mean, you could just tell, like, this never happened, like, he was just complete bullshit. He was just thinking, I don't know, like maybe he was thinking like he was going to be on my good side or whatever. But I mean, I just totally ignored the whole conversation.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to have the talk with him at all. So I was just like, fuck off. I tattooed him, didn't bring it up anymore. Of course, he tried to, bargain with prices. I didn't budge, and so, but I mean, I'm sure you've probably had to deal with, aside from people from Kenya, I'm sure you get a few of those people from time to time.
Yeah, like, what's funny? I'll get things like people will write, saying, "Hey, I got the package. Everything's freaking amazing and awesome, and thank you." And I really appreciate that. That really means a lot to hear those things, and especially from those that really do appreciate it. But then they'll throw a little zinger at the end of, things like, thank my dark lord Satan, and I'm thinking, it just makes me go, because it tastes a little salty,
yeah.
And you don't know how to take those sort of things, and a lot of people give me a weird taste in my mouth or my ears, I should say that. Well,
stop giving the blowjobs out then.
Yeah, but it's just like they say some weird stuff afterward that kind of is like, I'd never really think of a Satanist saying that thing or saying something like that. It doesn't really jive. But yeah,
and it's just like kind of proof that they don't get it, that they're but they think that I don't know. It's like they think that by saying this certain thing that they're going to be part of the in crowd, which of course we get plenty of people like that, and like maybe like the unofficial Church of Satan Facebook page. You get occasional people who are trying to say something clever, hoping that the active members will come in and go, "Hey, buddy, you're just like one of us." Like they just don't get it. Like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah,
we're individuals here.
That's funny because I heard somebody, or I read somebody. They wrote "My Satanic Faith." And I was just like, like, what are you talking about? But yeah,
faith. Wow. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things that kind of, you just deal with it every now and then. And like I said, for me, like the easiest way to deal with it was just to fucking ignore him. Like, not even worth me talking to.
Someone will deal with it sooner or later.
I mean, if the thing is, like, he didn't ask me a question. I would answer a question.
Yeah.
But he did. He was just he was assuming that he was somehow getting on my cool side, and he wasn't. So
he was ass-ooming. Yeah.
He was an ass.
Nah, I mean, I'm sure everyone gets those sort of things. But I mean, like with online or on Facebook or something, I part of me wants to say something to somebody and stuff, but I just refrain because you got the usual group that does say things, and I'm like, they'll take care of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I always get a big smile when I see the thread locked.
yeah, that's the best.
Like somebody finally says, "Shut the fuck up. We're done with this."
Enough. Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
Love it.
All right.
So speaking of the shop though, how's it doing, man? Everything's good?
Everything is great, actually, as far as the shop goes. I mean,
so you're not coming back to LA then? Fuck.
I'm not, dude. I actually this summer makes 20 years of tattooing, and
wow.
I'm making. I mean, I just moved here, and I probably just had the best month I've ever had in 20 years.
Oh, great.
And I haven't really gotten much repeat business yet. I'm actually getting ready this Saturday. I'm starting this huge, massive Star Wars piece on this chick's leg. And, as it was this was kind of funny. She came in to put down a deposit and talk about all her ideas and stuff. And at the same time, my wife came in the shop, so she was hearing everything this girl was wanting. And, my wife's like, "Oh, geez, it's practically your soulmate, And then, like, the girl's like, "I'm saving my other leg. I want it to be all Lord of the Rings." I'm like, "Yes!" And then she goes, "And then this arm's going to be all H.R. Geiger." And, like, my wife's like, "You're going to make him pass out."
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, awesome. It's kind of this cool, it's a kind of a cool way. Like, I'm trying to think of a way to kind of make some kind of I don't know, maybe a video or slideshow or something of, a great way to close up the first 20 years of this career. So
video would be cool, like time-lapsed video of you tattooing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, obviously, like, this is not going to be a one-session thing, but that's not a bad idea. I think we do have some GoPros around the shop that we might be able to set up and do something with. So yeah. I might try to do that soon.
That'd be cool to like time lapse it and see it come to life. And
yeah,
I'm sure if you, I mean, Star Wars being your forte, I mean, and you love that, and I think that once she sees the finished product on her, she's gonna definitely come back for her other stuff.
Yeah, and this is definitely. I mean, obviously, like there's a part of any artist who, number one, when you get a request by a customer to do something that you love, then obviously your excitement level makes it better. But not only that, but just it is kind of like color portraiture. It's probably going to be one of those pieces where even if it wasn't, even if it was I don't know, some cheesy movie that I wasn't really into, it would still be the kind of thing that I want to put a lot of work and a lot of detail and make it, just really pop. So, so those things combined, just going to make it's going to be awesome. So,
hell yeah.
Totally stoked, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats, man. Can't wait to see it.
Right on.
Let's do this.
Let's.
All right.
Infernal Link magazine is a quarterly magazine focused on publishing extremely dark and sexually charged fiction and poetry. In addition to our violently erotic fictional offerings, we have interviews and a regular music column written by Dave, the Dave of Lipscomb, that explore and expose the reader to artists and acts of a diabolically sinful nature. This magazine is not for the faint of heart or prudish.
The current and all back issues of Infernal Ink magazine may be found through Amazon Kindle or in print or PDF to Lulu.com. For more information about Infernal Ink, as well as Hydra M Star and Dave Lipscomb's other publications, can be found through HydraMStar.com, Facebook.com Infernal Ink magazine, or the Babel's Gallery on Facebook.
The Law of Gyps.
Law number 7. I favor undertaking bold ventures over obediently heeding expertise. Living life by taking chances, taking risks, seeking new adventures and thrills is far more rewarding, exciting, and fulfilling than simply taking anyone else's advice at face value and taking their words for granted. Why live in a bubble? Why live sheltered from the real world? Why live based on anyone else's words? I, as an individual, do not have to answer to anybody unless he or she is paying my bills, keeping a roof over my head, allowing me to have a car, allowing me to be healthy and happy, staying out of my hair. Generally, I'm my own redeemer. I set my own path to move forward and onward. And on that path onward and forward, there are risks. There are detours. There are bumps in the road. There are roadblocks, obstacles, detractors, pests, and parasites. All of those must be taken into consideration. However, none of them must ever detract you or allow you to lose sight from the greater, grander scheme. That greater, grander scheme which allows you, the individual, the one burning the black flame within, to move on to bigger, greater, better things in your own life. Your own life is all that counts. You only have a very short time of it in this universe. Make the best of that life by living recklessly, living dangerously, living for pleasure, living for indulgence, not through the words or the ideas of someone past who had their chance, who had their day in the sun, that decided never to use it and instead impose their short-sighted views and opinions onto you, a brighter, far more skilled, far more experienced, far more talented individual. The only advice you should take is the one from within you. And if that advice tells you to take the risk, go for it. Dive in head first, without shame, without regret, without remorse. Hail Satan!
Okay, John, so for episode 20, we got to do a little something different. See, everybody, when they think of the devil and music, they usually instantly go straight for rock and roll, but they skip something very important. I'm talking about the blues.
Oh, yeah.
And we have a certain somebody, I think, in our group who knows a little something about the blues.
We sure do. We have fellow warlock of the Church of Satan, Darren Deicide.
What's up, man?
How's it going?
How are you?
We're doing very well.
John, you're doing well after getting gutted like a fish recently?
I did. They pulled some zombie thing out of my belly button. It was weird.
The guts out, so.
Enough about me. How are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous.
I'm like, enough with the small talk. No, go So how you been,
sprout legs after they took you and crawl off into the garbage can?
I don't know. I was knocked out. They could have done all kinds of stuff.
How are you
Then
doing?
I wake up, my pants unbuttoned. What is this?
How are you, Dorian, as well? I have to remember aliases here.
Yeah, doing great, man. Just finally getting some sun down here in Florida, so business is great. Everything's going good, man. How are you? How is this day in the life of Darren Deicide?
Fabulous. Things are always eventful, and the place where I live, Jersey City, is really a very interesting place to live in at this time and place, this time period. It's really great to be on the ground floor.
Excellent. Right on. So, are you pretty active with your music?
Oh, constantly playing. And when you say music, I think of the whole umbrella of things that I do also, because I also dance.
Right.
And
that's
teach
right. Yeah.
Oh,
Lindy Hop and swing.
Yeah, you got the moves, yow.
Yeah, you got the moves. That's right.
Hit me.
I did. When Marlene and I were visiting Maryland, and Darren came over with everybody, and it was great. We just sat there drinking wine and filling our gullets and just watching him and his lady tear up some carpet. It was amazing.
We even got a little preview of that in DC, even actually.
Yeah.
And very soon I'm going to be traveling to compete in Iowa. So there's a lot that's going on.
For dance?
Yes, I will be at the Heartland
excellent.
Swing Festival.
Whoa.
Wow.
Vincent
Very
Vega.
cool.
So there's that. There's the new album that's coming out. I just recently signed on with McKinley Square Pub here in Jersey City, which is a new craft beer bar, and I'm about to start a new live series called Hokum. Things are happening. Let me tell you, there isn't much room to breathe, but I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, you're a busy guy.
Awesome.
That seems to be. I think that the top Satanists are always the guys that just don't stop. We're always doing stuff, and we barely get time to breathe. So it sounds like you're very active.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, if you live life to the fullest, you're probably not picking your ass on the couch and wondering what to do with yourself, right?
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, where do we start? You got so many different things. Let's start with, I think a lot of us know you as a musician. But I don't know, maybe let's start with maybe your earliest influences. What got you? Was it dance or music that you were first drawn to?
Well, I've been avid about music ever since the day I was born. That's one of those things I think that nature just leans you towards by disposition.
Oh yeah.
And I know some people for whom music is just not really a consequential thing in their life. It's just something that could be background music perhaps, or just something they feel rather indifferent about. But I'm one of those people that if you were around my domicile, there's pretty much music going on 24/7. It's just the fiber of my existence. So when I was a child, I was put into piano lessons rather early. sometime in kindergarten, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I've then transitioned to guitar, and like any good kid, I had my slew of punk bands that went nowhere. And I even got the chipped tooth to remember it by.
Nice.
That was a good time, and it literally cut my teeth. But as I went deeper into things, I became more enamored by the blues, and the blues became something that I sunk deeper and deeper into, not just playing it, but collecting and archiving music. I have a very large collection of 78s in vinyl. That led to my interest in swing, which is jazz is sort of a cousin to blues, but blues really is, in my view, one of the most principal, diabolical Americana art forms that at this point is just influenced everything, almost everything.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Even though it may not always be recognized as such.
Yeah, it's so deep in the foundations of music that is contemporary that it's almost been bastardized and cross-pollinated so much that its influence is maybe slight, but it's there, and it's across the board. And I'm always interested in history, and in particular that aspect of culture and that aesthetic trend has always fascinated me. And I don't know why. I mean, why are we Satanists? Why are we people who are fascinated by this anti-hero?
That's my business. But anyway, speaking of history, though, history has it that you were born on Halloween. Is that true?
That's true.
Wow. So to your parents, were you more of a trick or a treat?
I think mostly a trick.
Nice.
Well, for one thing, I don't know if this is true. I'm going to have to confirm this with my mom. But she once told me that she actually had a bit of a choice about when I was to be delivered. And when she found out that Halloween was an option, she held out for it, which I am eternally grateful to my mother for.
So you can say that you were like overcooked.
Yeah, exactly. I was a huge baby. Seriously, I was overcooked.
You're like covering like your highest holiday and the second highest satanic holiday all in one day.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
glorious.
hell of a party, man. Yeah. Actually, my just coincidence, but my dad, his birthday is Halloween, and my mother's birthday was Valentine's Day. So weird shit.
That's an interesting day.
And actually, I mean, it's not always falling on it, but technically, I was born on Mother's Day, so I don't know if the holiday link is in my genes or something. I don't know.
Huh.
What day were you born, John?
I was born on March 5th. You know what happened that day?
Cinco de Marzo.
Cinco de Marzo. Yeah. No, seriously, I'm wondering, do you know if anything really happened on that day?
No, I thought that was a rhetorical question. I was waiting
for the cool answer.
Yeah, nothing really happened that day.
Well, you were born. That's something.
Yeah.
Happy John Shaw Day.
Matter of fact, God damn it, now I got to come up with a birthday present for you.
Shit.
Fuck.
Yeah, this Saturday, man, I'll be
all right,
I'll be on the wrong side of 40. So
I'm flying over with my tattoo gear. So
yeah, do that.
Yeah, right. You hold your breath. I'll be right there.
I ain't holding nothing. I'll hold the room.
All right, so we got a guest here. His name's Darren.
Oh shit, that's right. How you doing, Darren?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All right. So I mean, go ahead. You go ahead, Dorian.
No, I'm just kind of I guess wanting to further explore the music trail. Like, I mean, is there certain I guess early influences, maybe something early on that kind of made you curious about exploring more in the blues, as far as like certain musicians that really stood out to you that said funk is cool, but what is this?
Robert Johnson.
Yeah, Robert Johnson's is a huge influence. I mean, his influence is beyond just my own influence or the influence he's had on me. I mean, his influence is one that he's another one who's at this point has rock and roll just wouldn't sound the way it does if it weren't for the existence of Robert Johnson.
Right.
But there were I can't point to too many single artists. I often find that the more I look at history, that there are trends, and those trends inform each other, but that oftentimes there are these artists that just get overlooked. And
Kanye West.
Yes.
Kanye West, I've never heard of her.
According to him, certainly. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But then you have artists that I look back at, and they inspired me to the degree that when I heard them, I said to myself, wow, you could be a single guy who's really just not even doing the, and I appreciate this as well, not just doing the kind of morbid, dark, lonely sounding blues, but guys like Juke Boy Bonner or Tommy McClellan or John Lee Hooker, who as single guys really put out a ton of energy. So yeah.
Did you just say Hooker Beavis?
No, I'm like Hooker, yeah.
So
Stop it.
It's one of those things where it's very hard to point to single artists, and watching the whole progression, watching the pendulum swings in history it's really interesting to see those different trends blip, and those blips, those moments in history are really what interests me more than individual artists.
Sweet. Well, I noticed from watching you in DC even that I guess when I saw you play, what really struck me was, even though I've heard your music on listen on my headphones, is different than seeing you play it and realizing that there's nobody out there that really goes that traditional. I mean, you got your own little wooden platform to stomp your feet, and even just everything from the way you tune your guitar and the way you play, you really go back further in blues roots than anybody I've ever seen before.
And the funny thing about that is that people who are very dogmatic and orthodox about their approach to blues tradition usually don't like what I do.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
because there are elements of what I do that nod other traditions that come from blues, like punk, like rock and roll, and the truly orthodox and very, very strict traditionalists look at what I do and see it as perhaps some bastardization. But you look at somebody like Robert Johnson and his sound and the thing he created, which we very much associate with him, as it wasn't really, there wasn't anything like him before that. Right. And I mean, he definitely took influences from people like Kokomo Arnold and whatnot, and he made it his own, but there wasn't anything exactly like him. So it's kind of this strange historical revisionist point of view that says, like, if you want to be authentically blues, then you have to conform to these particular ways of doing things. Whenever you hear somebody talk about authentic music, your BS meter should go in the red. If you know anything about musical history.
Oh yeah. One of the things I liked about seeing you, like in DC, and hearing you, your stage presence. You're just the way that from you make a crazy face to your gallant poses you make, and how the timing of striking of your chords, and I mean, you just suck people in. It just really draws you in. I mean, I remember that one song. I don't remember the name of it. Something about cocaine.
Yeah,
the crowd was all, we're all singing it and we're, singing it over and over. I mean, I really had a good time. It really was cool.
And I have to confess, I'll tell you guys this, a little something for the devil people out there. Like, that was terrifying. that show.
Why?
It was utterly terrifying because because I'm also a Satanist, I know the point of view that people have. I am being ruthlessly critiqued right now as I play.
Fuck them.
You're like, this is the most critical group of people I've ever been around. I know I'm one of them.
I've opened up for the members and Dead Prez and Danny and the Juniors. I've played to hundreds of people. At Yale, I played an auditorium that was packed to the gills, and even that didn't scare me as much as DC.
That's so weird, but that's funny. Fuck it. They're just people too, man.
Yeah, we're entertained. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, that's my moment of candor there.
So before we get into the history of Darren Deicide in regard to Satanism, so you sent us this song, Hudson River Hangover. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it before we let the kiddies listen to it?
Sure. That song originally appeared on a full-length album that I did about 7 years ago now, and that album is called The Jersey Devil Is Here. That originally appeared on that in a kind of more produced manner, and the one that you're playing, the track that you're playing, is the B-side of my 7-inch that I put out a few years ago.
Your 7-inch.
Your 7-inch.
Oh, yeah. I'm about to put out 12. I hope you're ready for this.
Oh, so you weren't excited the first time, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that was only a semi-release, if you know what I
mean. You're making it Dan horny. Come on.
Yeah. Now you know why I'm friends with it, Dan. So, Bomb This Joint came out, which was a 7-inch. It was a song on each side, and I decided to revisit Hudson River Hangover and to do it in a more acoustic and traditional manner, and that's where that track came from.
All right, and here it is, Hudson River Hangover.
Yeah.
Last night, tried arguments and a few ugly fights. I'm still hurting. I'm still hurting. I wanna throw my lump through the wall. With every scream it makes my skin crawl. I'm still snoozing. I'm still snoozing. No, get up and roll myself out of bed. Feels like my brain is draining out of my head. I'm still moving. I'm still moving. The world's a prison that I can't escape. People walking by are just distorted shapes. I'm still doubting. I'm still doubting. And when it's dark, I find my way, despite the decay that brought it today. As the Hudson's rising, it keeps rising. Rising, it's still rising, it keeps rising. Took that pill right when I got out of bed. Got me feeling good, but my thoughts in shreds. I'm still rolling, I'm still rolling. Got a monkey on my back and that old snake in my mind. A perfect perfect sucker is so hard to find. I'm still looking. I'm still looking. And when it's dark, I find my way, despite the decay that brought it today. As the Hudson's rising and keeps rising, it keeps rising, it's still rising, it keeps rising. They beckon me, I turn, they scream. The banks, they beckon me. River rises and takes the land. It takes my right hand, it rises and takes the land.
All right. So what'd you think of that, Dorian? It was very humble yet continental, wasn't it?
Extremely.
Yeah. There's something magical about your music, though. You know, it's it just grabs you. You know, and if it doesn't, you don't have ears. You know,
you don't get it. You just don't get it.
As Warlock Shaw would say, you just don't get it.
As Warlock Shaw just did say.
Nothing quite like quoting yourself.
As I once said.
Yeah. A wise man named Darren Deicide once said.
All right, so let's go back. How old were you when you first discovered or happened upon Satanism?
You know, I don't really have a particular time period I could connect it to. When I hear people talk about their introduction to Satanism, I notice that a lot of people say that they perhaps read the Satanic Bible, read some of the literature, became acquainted, and then had maybe an epiphany kind of moment, or had some sudden realization that they were a Satanist. I remember hanging around a lot of metalheads in high school, and I remember being
shouting at the devil. Oh, sorry.
To the Satanic Bible and shouting at the devil and banging my head to Metal Health and drinking many 20 packs of Miller High Life.
I mean, you might as well jump.
Yes.
Go ahead and jump.
So it was around. I remember reading it, and I remember thinking, well, that was really interesting. That was not what I expected. And then putting it aside in order to go on a broader explanation. At that moment, I definitely agreed with it. I looked at it, I read it, and I said that this makes sense. But I still wanted to, and I just kind of like this in general, I think. It's kind of a perfectionist thing, but I like to take in as much as possible before making decisions or adopting labels or associations. And I remember dabbling, a long period of dabbling, where I became interested in voodoo. I became interested in a
Who do
cousin
voodoo?
of
You do?
voodoo. Yes. Oh, who do voodoo? Yes, we do.
I've been watching Hulu.
You idiot.
Dabbling in Hulu.
Yeah. Yes.
His Hulu hoop. Anyway.
Yeah.
So basically, like, running the gamut of occultist stuff. I even ran into a whole bunch of theistic Satanists in New York City.
Like with a car, or you like? What do you mean? Just ran into him? What do you mean?
Bus.
I kind of wish I did, but no. No, they're. I do you know the Joy of Satan people? They're ridiculous.
Oh boy!
Oh my god!
I don't even know if those folk are around anymore.
Oh my me!
But,
yeah,
they're a piece of work for sure. So I really just really went through this Rumspringa of sorts, and
stop using big words because Dorian gets angry.
What?
All right, sorry. I kind of did a lot of stuff for a while, and hung out.
Cool, dude.
And yeah. And
all right,
then
Ishmael.
I went back. I went back, and I looked at the literature again, and it was at that moment that it started to really settle in that really what I am, after having gone through this exploration, dabbled in a lot of things, took in the sights and sounds, I really am a Satanist.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it.
All right, awesome. It just ended
rest,
abruptly.
as they say. Is
I kept thinking
no
about
epiphany.
fucking voodoo, man. But, that's awesome.
Very cool.
I had to ask you though, with the blues thing, is Crossroads with Ralph Macchio like one of your favorite movies?
You know what? I've never seen it.
What?
Yeah, I've
Steve
never
Vai,
seen it.
dude.
I've been told I need to. And someone, it comes up a lot because when you look the way I do and you play the blues, some schmuck somewhere is always just like, "Hey, Ralph Macchio, you going to the Crossroads?"
You should answer with, "I'm going to sweep your leg, Johnny."
Yeah, get him a body bag. But, no, but that movie though, like I liked it a lot. But I named a band after a word that the old guy said. He was supposed to be holding all the money, and he promised Ralph Macchio, "Hey, I got this money," and Ralph Macchio was in the like train station or something, or bus station, and said, "Right, well, where's the money? Let me see it." And he goes, "Man, you don't go whipping out a water bacon like that in a place like this," or something like that. So I named one of my bands Water Bacon. So that's my blues story. That's it.
Water bacon.
Water bacon.
What's a water bacon?
It's your dick. It's a water bacon. You know what
I
I
have
mean?
never heard
He was
that.
talking about his junk. He didn't want to whip out his junk because he had his money down in his underpants.
I learn
Okay.
something new every day. This is very educational shit.
So watch that movie. It's cool. It's got that chick from Lost Boys in it too.
Yeah. Well, the whole Crossroads mythology is interesting, and with music history, there's kind of this pattern where it caricaturizes itself after a while.
Yeah.
Right.
And like for example, it happens with every genre. Like rock and roll, people associate it with like poodle skirts and jukeboxes, and the reality of rock and roll is quite different when you study it. And I tend to not really, the caricatures, they hearken to something in the collective unconscious that's interesting on the psychological and sociological level, but in and of themselves, they don't really have an importance to me. But yes, I will see that damn movie eventually.
Well, by the time you see it, it'll totally have lost its luster with all the people who've told you to see it. It's just going to suck.
I did learn one thing
except for
from
Steve Vai
watching
playing.
that. Yeah, Steve Vai was cool, but I did learn one thing from watching that movie. Muddy Waters invented electricity.
I thought
And
Ben
if
Franklin.
that's all I could take from that, then that's worth it.
Sounds like a very.
Did Muddy Waters tie a key to a kite or something?
Oh, no way.
Thunderstorm? I don't know.
No, I think he was talking about the electric guitar thing.
Oh, gotcha.
Sounds like a historically accurate movie.
All right, so let's go off on a tangent and talk about your parents. Were they pretty strict religiously, or?
Yeah.
Tell us about your mother.
They'll be listening to. Yeah. Wow. Well, hold on. Let me sit down on the couch. No, not particularly.
And that's all the time we have. No, I'm kidding.
No, not particularly. I grew up in a Catholic household, and
oh boy,
but it wasn't one of those ones where I was getting beat up by penguins or anything like that. It was a lot of it was, especially with my father, a lot of it was sort of obligatory. My father, I think he was one of those Pascal wager sort of Catholics, like, well, there is a chance there's a hell, and I don't want to take my chances, so I'll take a nap at Mass every Sunday.
Holy shit. So is that where you discovered dancing? You just fantasize about the nuns dancing?
Well, I did go to a Catholic school, and there were nuns, and they hated me. Oh my God, did they hate me? And but I had a blast.
He was born on Halloween.
Yeah, I remember having a textbook and drawing in on the photographs other parts to the picture. So, for instance, there would be a picture of a priest, and he'd be holding up a chalice and blessing it or something like that. And I would draw a gun into his mouth, and his brain splattering behind him. And the nun at some point confiscated my book and saw this, so I'm pretty sure they knew they had someone special on their hands.
Special.
Oh man. Well, how about, I know that you're not really doing this anymore, but since it's getting archived, can you tell us what brought on Agent Provocateur?
Oh yeah, Agent Provocateur. What brought it on? Well, that was actually the title of a column that I did for the Aquarian Weekly, and the podcast came about the segment came about because I had been on 9 Cents a few times, and the episodes, I think Adam and I thought they were great. So, so Adam, after talking about it, he thought, I think that in particular there was an episode about gun control. And before my life went in the direction that it went, I was in academia and was on a pathway to a political science master's degree, and so it's just something that interests me, what's going on with the human world, and
right.
And I think he really liked what I had to bring to the table with the gun control episode, and he thought that I should get a segment, and Agent Provocateur was the title of the column, and I did the column kind of just on a lark. I did it because this woman used to come to my shows named Kathy Miller, and she was a photographer for the Aquarian Weekly, and we'd sometimes get into discussions, and she said, you'd be a really fun editorialist. You should just do a column, and I wound up doing it for a while, and when Adam proposed the segment, it just seemed natural to just run with that name.
Cool. Very cool.
I used to dabble in radio too. When I was in college, I did a radio show for the fuck of it.
Tell us about that, Grandpa.
Radio? What's radio?
You see, there used to be this thing called radio.
And you had to crank it up.
Yeah. And I had to walk through the snow for 5 miles to do it. But yeah, I used to do radio, so it was fun to do it again, to do Agent Provocateur. I had a blast, but it also took the piss out of me after a while, and I was kind of glad it died.
Oh, Were you drawing like little pictures of Agent Provocateur with a gun in his hand and his brains just splattered all over the place?
Yeah, exactly. Got to that point.
Awesome.
All right. I know you got future projects you're working on. Can you tell us a little bit about all the many things that you got coming up? Maybe a little bit more broken down.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Well, I mean, start with you did kind of mention that you have a new album coming up soon. What's happening with that?
I have an album that is going to be released. It's going to be on vinyl, and I might as well make the announcement now of sorts. It's going to be on Berenice Records, and
what was that? Berenice
Records by Jason Dean, who is a new member, and
gotcha.
He is going to be heading up a pre-order that we're going to start soon, and it's going to be a limited edition LP that's going to come out with digital downloads. So even if you don't have a turntable, you could still have the album if you get the record. Nice. And the title of the album is going to be The Blues Non Est Mortuum. And it will be the first LP I've done in 7 years.
Isn't that Spanish for whale's vagina? What does that mean?
No, that's San Diego.
Oh, wait. Yes, you're correct.
It's good. I'm really excited. It's been 7 years since I put something this big out, and I did a track with Edgefield C. Johnston on it, who's this great poet and writer over in St. Louis. I worked on one song with Nathan Gray, who's no stranger to the show.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for this to come out. It's taking forever because just about every vinyl factory in the United States right now is backlogged because of a massive vinyl renaissance that's happening.
Yeah.
I think that's cool though.
So, well, then, is the whole album like different compilations or different collaborations, I should say, actually?
There's those two that I mentioned. I don't want to burst too many bubbles. There might be a little Adam Campbell somewhere. There might be a little Christopher Walken somewhere. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it's all new material. I generally take it as an ethos to not have a fictional band. I really pesters the shit out of me when solo artists create these fictional bands. It almost seems like you're getting duped when you see an artist and you like them and they're solo, and then you take their music home and you're like, oh, well, that's interesting. Where did those guys come from?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm no purist by any stretch, but I do think that music's in an interesting place, and I'd like to be part of the pendulum that pulls the pendulum pull that brings it towards a more stripped down version of music, and going back to musicianship, going back to music that's primal.
So are you recording live then? Like guitar, vocal, all in one shot? Or are you doing?
I did. It's here and there. A couple songs I did in one shot. Actually, yeah, one of the songs I did in one take. And when it was over, engineer at Water Studios was just like, Gabe Bento. He just came out of it and said, "That was it. We don't have to do anything to that. Whatever that was great."
Nice.
So,
cool.
But there's a couple other things where I did some little sprinklings of things, but everything that I do, if I do sprinklings, it's organic sounds and with very little production, if any at all, so to speak.
Right on, man.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So that's do you have a release date?
Not yet. I am waiting for this pressing plant to get back to me.
Gotcha.
It's being pressed at Brooklyn Vinyl Works. which is backlogged like every other pressing plant.
So what you're saying is everybody should email them and say, hey, get your thumb out of your ass and get Darren's album going.
BrooklynVinylWorks.com. People clog the phone line.
So then tell us about, I know you do a bit of home brewing yourself, and you kind of mentioned maybe doing something with that in the future?
Well, it's really just a hobby. I don't really have too many aspirations. In fact, I was just drinking a homebrew right now. But it's a lot of fun. It's really just a fun side passion that I have. It's not really.
Do you remember when we were over? Marilyn and I were at Marilyn's house, and you brought over that homebrew? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
No, you don't, because you didn't bring us any, dude.
I mean, I don't.
I wanted to try it so bad, but yeah, no, you didn't have it on you.
You know, that goes to show
he just keeps a bottle in his pocket all the time or
He's
something.
supposed to.
Oh, here you go.
That goes to show you how many times I've showed up at Maryland's with homebrew. I can't even distinguish how many times at this point.
Yeah, I bet. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, other than that, I got Hokum, a new showcase that I'm doing.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. Hokum is a showcase that I'm going to be doing at McGinley Square Pub, and it's going to be in the back room, and this back room is this beautiful, ornate, rustic room that's wooden, has a fireplace and everything, and we're going to turn it into a crazy, diabolical Jewcast. Without any PA. I'm really being choice, too, about the musicians that I bring to this environment, but with no PA, they're going to have to win this crowd over. And I used to do house shows for a while until the situation got out of control. And gonna
hold the yodeling championship there?
I would love to, yeah.
So this is going to be a regular thing, right? It's going to be first Sunday of every month?
First Sunday of every month in Jersey City at McGinley Square Pub.
Really cool.
Mm-hmm. And the first show debuts on March 6th. Day after John Shaw Day.
The day after I could officially get old. It's great.
Yeah.
Official.
Yeah, officially.
I thought you were.
No.
I think I'm unofficially old.
I'm as young as I feel.
Yeah, so that's going to be great, and it's on a Sunday, so I feel like it's going to be a new Sabbath, and I'm really excited to bring that vibe that I had in my house for that moment there. It's going to be a great time for me to expose people to this new genre that's really burgeoning. I'm not even going to really play it myself. It's really just something I'm doing to see. It's seeds I'm casting in the wind to see what happens.
Right on.
Very cool, man. Well, before we let you go, we ask this of all our guests. What does Satan mean to you?
Satan is the most powerful archetype of an anti-hero that humanity has ever created. And it represents something that, on the one hand, the vast majority of people are fascinated by and they loathe. And as a result, Satanists take on a similar role in society. And Satan is that thing in nature that transcends the moral constructs of society. And that is something that we're in a very, I think, as Satanists, we're in a very interesting place right now, because it seems as if a lot of at least for the time being, a lot of the ridiculous, fantastical ideas of what Satan is or what Satanists are have been cast away, and people have a stronger understanding of what it is. But at the same time, because of that understanding, society is trying to pull it in and make it its own. But authentic Satanism will never be that, because the society and the herd always exist on dualisms. Dualisms like good and evil, or left and right, or whatever it is that can pen people into a small-minded way of thinking. And that right now is something that's being pushed on us. I won't name names, but you know that a lot of people are trying to take the mantle of Satan or Satanism and trying to shove it into that box. And we are going to, it seems as if we are going through this period at a time where we can make the decision to remain outside of that if we choose, and therefore always be on the victorious side, because we will transcend that morality. We have gotten to the place where it seems that Satanism will be timeless so long as it does that. And the Church of Satan is the one institution that could defend that, while all these other things that appear that try to do that, well, history proves they'll just blip on the radar and disappear, because they really are based around causes that society are interested in. And causes are temporal, and also necessitate some sort of subjugation of the self. And the self will always be the primacy in Satanism, and that means that it will be timeless. So I don't think we have much to worry about what's going on, and Satan and Satanism will be around for a very, very long time.
Wow. Damn. I gotta say, this is our 20th episode, and that's like the 8th best answer.
Wow. I can I see the rankings on this, the scorecard?
It'll be posted.
Can I see
later,
them too? Because I have no idea who's where. But
one of these days we're going to have to post a ranking system for that.
Yeah. Someone's got to listen to it all and figure it out, because I have no idea. I think everybody's tied for 4th. I don't even really know what's going on. But Darren, we really want to thank you for coming on, and you have now become a devil we know, and that's awesome. We really thank you for your time.
Yeah, and we look forward to hanging out with you.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Yeah, this was a blast, and it's always an honor and a privilege. And hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
This is our generic pre-recorded outro for the times that we forgot to record an outro. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of The Devil You Know podcast.
This was episode
20.
And we would like to thank our guest,
Darren Deicide.
And we'd like to thank you all for listening. Wait, you spelled it wrong, dude. It's listening. All for listening to this episode. Remember when we had a funny part in the beginning?
That was a real riot.
Yes. And then in the middle, there was really good information.
Indeed. And a commercial or two as well.
Right. And then toward the end, we really had a blast.
It was the best time I've had all day.
Thank you once again. And hail Satan.
Hail Satan.